Alrighty, so let's get started. And let's get started with Clubhouse. Today, we're going to be chatting about this new social network and how we can use it for our business, how to grow our business, how to grow our reach, our influence. Um, I am Paola Mendez. I am the founder of the Blogger Union. For those of you who are not familiar with the Blogger Union, we are a network of blogger communities dedicated to growing our members' brands and incomes through meetups and workshops just like this one. We have physical communities all around the US, and you can visit thebloggerunion.com to find out more about that. And my personal blog is Coral Gables Love if you guys would like to follow me there. Our speaker today is a serial entrepreneur, an influencer, and an author. She started Flourish Media Conference here in Miami, where once a year she shares her little black book of millionaires with small business owners who are looking for angel investors. Thank you so much for joining us, Vivian. How are you today?
I'm doing great today. It's an awesome Tuesday. For me, I don't work on Sunday and Monday. So today's my Monday, and I am rare and ready to go.
That is brilliant. That's so funny because that's also my weekend because my husband always works on Saturday. So we take Sunday and Monday off. So that's awesome.
The entrepreneurial lifestyle, that's the schedule.
Absolutely. So before we get started, would you mind telling us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Vivian Olodun. I am a entrepreneur and an author. I published my first book, Stumbling Through Adulthood, which is an interactive journal. I learned about the Bloggers Union many like moons ago when I knew that I wanted to make writing a more intentional part of my life and my lifestyle. At the time, I was the marketing director for Coldwell Banker, which is a real estate marketing company. And I knew that I was going to making the transition into being a full-time entrepreneur. And I knew how important messaging was, how important being able to tell a good story is. And in that same space, I was able to connect with one of my very first clients, and they made $15 million available for us to reinvest into businesses that are owned and operated by women. And it was a perfect synergy because I met our wonderful chief, our founder here, and I went to all of her events. I just wanted to soak up all of the information about being able to tell a good story. And then I invited, Paula through the Bloggers Union to be at our very first Flourish Media Conference, which was absolutely amazing. That was 6 years ago now.
I cannot believe it. Yes, I'm so honored that I was at the very first one. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And you still use that storytelling, right? Because you are also a ghostwriter right now.
Yes, indeed. So, a big part of what I do within my marketing firm, Flourish Media, is a marketing development and training firm. The thing that sets us apart is that we focus on teaching small business owners how to get laser focused in their messaging so that they can build online communities that convert into clients, customers, and champions for their brands. And being able to tell a good story is so important. It's the key part of how when a business owner comes to the Flourish Media Conference, how they can build that relationship, really grab that investor so that they're interested in being able to invest in their companies. But it's the same type of energy and the same skill that you need to be able to build or convert a existing business to operate in the online space. In 2020, I think a lot of business owners learned how important it is to be able to use good copy to close the deal, to bring on customers, or as a nonprofit to continue with their fundraising efforts.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting how the art of storytelling really is so important as a business owner. And we're going to be having an actual workshop about how to write a writing workshop about storytelling coming up. So you should keep an eye out for that. I think it's the 16th of March. So alrighty, let's get started talking about Clubhouse. So maybe we should start at the very beginning. And if you could tell us, what is Clubhouse?
So, Clubhouse is an audio only app, and I became aware of Clubhouse in the summertime of 2020, and I had some clients who were active on the app, and they asked me if I wanted to be on the app, and I thought, yeah, sure. And they said, well, do you have an invite? And I said, no. And I thought it was so weird. Why would you ask me if I was on an app if I needed to be invited and you didn't have an invite to give me? What's that about? So with Clubhouse, it is a growing app. A lot of people are finding out about it. It's audio only. So the same way that you would hear us speaking right now, and you can see our faces on Zoom, on Clubhouse, you can see your profile picture. So your profile picture becomes really important on Clubhouse on how you are telling a story about who you are as a brand, as a person. One of the things about Clubhouse that's important and different is the invites. When you come on the app for the very first time, you're giving one, just one invite to invite someone else who you think can provide engaging conversation. When you're on the app for the first time, you'll be given something that looks like a party hat. If you have your emojis, you'll notice that there's a party hat emoji. So when you join Clubhouse for the first time, you're given that emoji and it shows up on your profile for 1 week. And that's a way for you to get acclimated to the app so that other people know that you're new to the app, so that they are um, care careful with you, and so they are kind to you, and so you have a chance to express yourself on the app. Some other things to remember when using Clubhouse is that it's different from every other platform in that the vanity metrics don't work in your favor. When you're on the app, you'll see something called your hallway. The hallway is very similar to your news feed, and with your news feed or your hallway on Clubhouse, that's the different rooms that you have access to. So there really isn't a place for you to get a directory of all the rooms that are open. What you're seeing is a reflection of the people that you're following. So that's why when you join Clubhouse for the very first time and you notice that the person that invites you, their name is actually permanently pinned to your profile. And this is really important because every person that person who invited you, the person, your host, well, let's call them your host for now, for those of you who haven't been on the app, I don't want to confuse you. Your host, the person who invited you the first time, is pinned on your profile. And the entire app uses that person's activities to fill your hallway. So the rooms that you see, the people that you engage with are a reflection of the people that you follow. So would you then do a follow train and follow every single person that you're following on or connected with on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter? I wouldn't suggest it. I'd say look for the topics that you really enjoy, things that really light your fire, that make you want to have a conversation, things that you're passionate about, and you want to follow people who talk about those things. Well, how do you know, Vivian? How do you know what people talk about? Goes back to the profile. You'll notice that on Clubhouse, there are several different profile templates, meaning ways that people like to use their profile. My suggestion to you is to use your profile to express the things that you find interesting and the things that you want to be engaged with on the app. Because on the Clubhouse app, people have the ability to search every single word that's in your profile, and that's how new people find you.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I was also listening to a Clubhouse room, and someone there was saying that um, you should build the clubhouse that you want, because uh, with the conversations that you have and with the connections that you make and the moderators that you have in your room, you can build your own new community in Clubhouse. So I think not only in terms of growing who you follow and what interests you put, but also you can build that community yourself, right? So hopefully, hopefully you can start hosting rooms and growing your own community there as well. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Oh, so yes, when you join Clubhouse for the first time, you should jump right into it when it comes to hosting rooms. I wouldn't encourage people to open clubs. It was just an update to the app about 2 weeks ago where everyone can open a club. I do think it's important to eventually have your own club so that you can niche down and be able to communicate with your people. But I think it's more important to engage with the rooms that show up in your hallway. A lot of people who know me are quite impressed by the number of people that are following me on Clubhouse. I do have well over 3,000 followers on Clubhouse, and the reason why is because when you join rooms you should speak because it's kind of like Twitter. If you can remember the first time that you tweeted and you thought, I'm talking into a void, I don't have any followers, nobody's hearing what I have to say. It's the same experience on Clubhouse for the first time. I think when you join and you have that party hat for the first week, you should be really intentional about joining rooms that align with the things that you're interested in and making sure that you speak and jumping on stage even if you don't have anything to say, hey, I'm new to this app. I want you all to know I'm here and thank you for hosting this room because you're enriching my experience here on the app. Thanks. And just, the moderator will decide if you can stay on stage or they might put you back in the audience. And if they put you back in the audience, that's totally fine. That's Clubhouse etiquette, honestly. If you finish what you're saying, to just go back into the audience. And the app will automatically put you at the top. So that means that every other person who's inside that room is going to see you first. And that's the way that you build your audience is by getting familiar with the people who are already there and letting them get to know you and telling people, I'm here on the app, utilize that party hat, say, I want to build my audience. So if you're interested in boop, 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 whatever those interests are, then please connect with me because I want to follow you too, because I'm trying to fill up my hallway. Because otherwise you're talking to yourself.
Absolutely. And okay, so we talked about using Clubhouse to connect. So can you tell us a little bit about how we can use Clubhouse if we have someone specific in mind that we would like to connect with? Maybe we have a dream brand we want to work with. How would we go about using Clubhouse to make that connection?
That is such a great question. And one of the first things I think is important to do is to utilize the search feature. It's a feature that was added, I think it was added about in January or very early February. Believe it or not, there was a time where you could be on Clubhouse and not be able to search anybody. There was no way to know who was actually on the app. Now that you know, I say get focus, go after what you want. If you know that you want to have a deal with Kate Spade, for example, or you want to have a deal with a local developer or whatever it may be, if you're cooking, if you have cookware or anything like that, Eleanor, I'm thinking of you because I know that you have, you have your classes, then you want to search that and follow those individuals. And I would say search exactly for that brand and look for the person who is in a decision making position at that brand. So, for example, when I joined Clubhouse, I told you that I heard about it in the summer, but I joined during the Thanksgiving holiday. And at that time, there were a number of people who were in senior positions at Google, at Microsoft, a lot of people from LinkedIn, they were joining at that time. And those are the people that I decided to follow. I'm on Clubhouse specifically because I want to engage with angel investors and funders who are interested in supporting women business owners. And that's because, again, I host a Flourish Media Conference. That's not the way that I use my Instagram. That's not the way that I use my YouTube channel. It's not the way that I talk on my emails or anything like that, but specifically because Clubhouse allows for me to build a very engaged relationship because it's your voice. It's the optimum, ultimate communicating tool that we have as humans, then I want to be able to use that tool to help as many people as I can. And the best way that I can do that is connecting with angel investors and funders. So that is also what I talk about in my profile. yes, I am an author. Yes, I own a marketing firm in Miami, Florida. But the main thing that I talk about in my profile is the fact that I'm looking for angel investors and I want to connect with other people who are interested in funding women. So I looked up the top funds, the VCs in the US, and I searched them and I followed them. And so, why is that important? Remember, the people you follow are the rooms that you see in your hallway. So if you don't follow them, you're not going to be able to engage with them in a meaningful way. And you won't be able to build relationship with them based on things that they enjoy outside of that topic that you're talking about. So I found out that I'm connected with certain funders who really enjoy snowboarding. My husband enjoys snowboarding. I've only been twice, but you know what? I can have that conversation. I've connected with other funding programs for women in business, and it's been awesome being able to connect with them because then we can host rooms together and we can talk about connecting our two audiences, and that's been really powerful. So when it comes to connecting with brands, being able to increase your partnerships that you may have on your blog, then go after those individuals and those companies that you feel you can bring impact to or that you aspire to connect with.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, you have had great success monetizing Clubhouse.
Yes.
So you have some secret formula of how to monetize um, your connections in Clubhouse. So maybe could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I share with you that I became active on Clubhouse during Thanksgiving, and I did exactly what I'm telling you to connect, prioritize people first, prioritize relationships so that you can have a meaningful engagement. And I can tell you in January, I did close $60,000 worth of business just from Clubhouse, not from my other business or any other things I'm doing. Specifically from Clubhouse, we brought in about $60,000. The same is true when it comes to our numbers for February continue to be really great, and there are actually more. So what I would like for you all to do is to go through these steps. And do we have the steps outlined, or am I sharing them verbally?
Um, Verbally.
Okay, great. So, everybody, this is your cue. If you have a pen in front of you, write this down. So, see what I just did? That was super important. That's a call to action. And this is exactly what you want to do when you're on Clubhouse. Because remember, Clubhouse is an audio only app. There is no chat, there is no way to connect beyond using your voice. So that means that you, as the communicator, have to become comfortable with telling people what you want. And that is in marketing called a call to action. So on Clubhouse, you have the ability to connect two of your social media platforms. That's Twitter, that's Instagram. I've chosen to connect my Instagram. I believe you can only do one at a time, but those are the two options that you have, Twitter or Instagram. So that means that when you're speaking, you want to tell people, hey, hi, I'm Vivian. I'm at Vivian Olo on Instagram. If you want to stay connected with me, or if you have any questions about what I'm about to share, make sure that you're following me on Instagram. Go to my profile, scroll to the bottom, click on my face, and follow me at Vivian Olo. All of that is a call to action. You have to tell people what you want. So that's the first thing, is to connect your social platform. Step number one.
Okay.
Step number two is for you to make sure that you have a offer inside of your link. So that means on Twitter, you have some kind of link, some opt in. If you're on Instagram, that you're utilizing that link from me, I have at Vivian Olo, I have a link tree link, and I have a button that is called Clubhouse. You want to make it super obvious how the person can connect with you. So for me, I've chosen to use the button called Clubhouse on my Instagram. The second thing is that I would suggest that you have some type of free offer that you can give to your audience that aligns with the topics that you like to talk about. Now, on Clubhouse, I'm using that app to connect with angel investors and funders, but I also need to be able to connect with other business owners. The number one thing, the number one priority for me as a business owner for 2021 is to pursue government contracts. My business is a woman owned business. We're minority owned business. We are located in a hub zone and we qualify for a lot of government contracts. My business has been set up and registered appropriately to go after these contracts for 2 years, you guys. And guess what? I've closed zero. I've closed zero. And the reason being is that I'm too busy building my business with the stuff I already know, but I don't know anything about government contracting. So, in addition to listening and looking for angel investors, I started to pay attention to government contracting experts and listening to them and talking with them and sharing with them. So, what I found is that on Clubhouse, a lot of people listen and they're doing something. You're probably doing something right now and you don't have the ability to take these notes or to be able to reference this information because again on Clubhouse the only thing you have is audio. So paying attention to my marketplace, I realized that hey, if I'm having a hard time taking notes, then other people are probably having a hard time taking notes about government contracting. So I asked my team to take all the information that we use to register as a minority business and to put it into a guide so that when we're talking in these rooms that people can just download the guide so that I can hoard the stage because I had so many questions, but I kept noticing that everyone kept asking the same basic questions. But remember, I'd been registered for 2 years, so I didn't need to know how to register. I needed to know how do I pursue these grants. So think about how you can be helpful within your conversation on Clubhouse and create something that's free that other people can download and utilize. So, what does this do? In two ways, it establishes you as an expert. Even though for me, I'm not an expert on government contracting, but I knew I'd be in a lot of government contracting rooms and I wanted to be able to move the conversation along genuinely. That's why we did it. But what we found is that it helped us to grow our email list so that when you want to talk to other business owners or other people who are interested in your same hobby or other bloggers or whatever it may be, you can have a audience of people to talk to about those things. Government contracting is a super dry topic. But guess what? Only other businesses that are at the same level as mine would find it interesting. And that's powerful because now, guess what, guys? Over 500 people have downloaded my free government contracting guide. Over 500. So if I want to do business with another business that's the same size as mine, if I have an offer within my marketing company to share that a business of that size would find valuable, if I want to ask for donors for my nonprofit that hosts a Flourish Media Conference, who do you think I'm going to talk to? Those 500 plus people. So number two, or I think we said, make sure that your social media is linked. Make sure that you're utilizing that link for a offer of some sorts. But number three is making sure that the topic, the quality of the information in that offer is something that people in your audience would find interesting. And step number four is to make sure that you're telling people you have this offer, which is your call to action, saying, hey, you guys, hi, I'm Vivian. And, I have a lot of questions about government contracting. So I created a free government contracting guide. My Instagram is linked. It's at Vivian Olo. If you want to download that guide, you can. But my question is about, see that? You're able to move the conversation forward. And so those are my tips for being able to utilize Clubhouse in a way that is going to be lucrative for you all. I know that it works because I've done it myself. And honestly, right now, right before we started this room, I was apologizing because my business for the first time in 6 years is actually at capacity, you guys. I have the ability to support about 15 businesses, very high touch. Otherwise, I have courses or different things that are available. But for the first time in 6 years, I'm having to tell people not only that I have to delay onboarding them into my company. But some people I've actually had to turn away, which is a beautiful thing because I can refer business to other business owners. And now I got a list of 500 to do that.
That's amazing, Vivian. Thank you for sharing that whole entire strategy on how to monetize and really how to, just take that introduction that you get, that opportunity to be introduced to people in Clubhouse and getting people from, just getting to know you for the first time to building a relationship with them and hopefully a monetary relationship. So before we get to the questions from the audience, which we already have a few coming in, let's talk a little bit about etiquette. So so that we all can learn a few things and we maybe can avoid doing some faux pas. So do
Well,
you have any off the top of your mind that you can share with us?
oh yes, I have some that will put you a ring above the rest. So the first one is when you come on stage to always mute yourself. When you come on stage, your microphone on the app is automatically opened. So that means that everyone can hear everything that's going on in your background. On Clubhouse, a part of the etiquette that I've seen, and quite frankly, there's a number of different um, communities of people on Clubhouse, but in the community that I frequent in, which tends to be professional people who are using the app to relax or connect or learn more, usually business owners, usually entrepreneurs, they tend to be educated or very experienced in their fields. That is the environment in which I've created for myself on Clubhouse. So, that being said, it is a faux pas to speak over anyone on Clubhouse. It is very poor etiquette. You want to mute yourself immediately. And then when you want to speak, what you can do is you can tap on your mic. That means that you are celebrating or agreeing with what someone else is saying. And that allows for the moderator to visually see on the app that you are interested and engaged. And most likely, most moderators will say, "Hey, I see that you were tapping your mic. You really agree with what's happening. You're enjoying the conversation. Do you have something to say?" Usually the moderator will do that. And then you can take yourself off mute. You want to, for me, this is something that I do naturally. I've been doing this for years, is that I am an active listener and not everyone is. And being on Clubhouse will show you if you are an active listener or not, because it is great etiquette if you can participate in the conversation in a way where you're not waiting to speak, but you're contributing to the conversation. So, what does that look like in practicality? That means that I can say, "Hey, Brooke, I love what you added to the conversation. Carla, remember when you said XYZ? Carly, you said ABC. And that's why when Brooke said X, it really made me want to come up on stage and talk and share because I remember Marcia in another room said, but. That's being an active listener when you can repeat back what someone just said and engage them back in the conversation too. And I'll give you a pro tip. When you do that, people want to let you speak because they know that you're not rolling over the conversation. Because there are instances on Clubhouse where you're given the mic and you might be very passionate about what you're sharing and you kind of droll on. You're talking too much. And you're talking too much because you're not inviting other people into the conversation and you're not offering insight to others, not giving other people an opportunity to lobby into the conversation. Would you agree, Paula?
Absolutely. I feel like it has to be a conversation that bounces back between the different people having the conversation, or else you don't want to hog the microphone. Yeah. So those were definitely wonderful etiquette tips. So now we are not going in completely blind and we know to mute our microphones and and to be active listeners. So that's brilliant. So we already have a ton of questions from the audience, so I feel we can just jump into those. So I think the first one we would go with is Marcia, because she has a specific question based on your strategy on how to monetize. And she's asking, in what platform was your audience able to download that guide that you created?
Excellent. So I'm using Instagram and I'm using Google Drive. So the guide, the free hi, the free guide is a PDF. It is a PDF document that has fillable content and it has a ton of hyperlinks. It's 22 pages long. So it is a very rich product, but it is 100% free. And we utilize, let me go through the technology. We use Instagram, we use Linktree, we use Canva to create the PDF. We used Google. I said Google Drive already. I think I did.
Yes.
And to make sure that it's the shareable link within Google Drive. So you want to make sure that it's a link that will open up automatically, that the person doesn't have to sign into Google in order to access it. And then we're also using MailChimp. So they are going on to my Squarespace website. You guys hear all this technology involved. That's why, and this again is why Flourish Media is a marketing training company, because I said that to you and it sounded like a really simple thing to do, but it is tech heavy. It is a tech heavy thing to do, but you will see results when you do this thing. So we use a Squarespace website. The MailChimp is connected to the Squarespace. The link tree, the link inside of Linktree is the link that lives on Squarespace. So it's the Squarespace link, not a link directly to MailChimp. When they put their email into the Squarespace website, which is what they see, they're going to get an email from MailChimp that was previously written that says, "Hey, thanks for connecting. Here is the guide that you requested." And we directly link that. We actually link the copy is linked to Google. So that's where it's linked. And it opens directly into the guide and they get their guide automatically.
Oh, thank you for the insight into all the technology. There's many ways that you can do this, offer
Yeah.
an opt-in. But I guess if you really want to get your set up, you want to look into your email provider is the one who's going to really deliver, because the way Vivian does it is that, she has this guide, but she doesn't want to give it to you unless you give her her email, because that's how she's going to be able to continue that conversation with you. So MailChimp offers that service for you to be able to do that. And then also Flowdesk offers that service to be able to do that. So that's a great idea. In terms of email marketing, we should definitely have that workshop so that we can show you guys how to do it step by step. But thank you for sharing that, Vivian. All right, let's continue with our questions because we do have quite a few. So Sandy is asking, can you please share what should we include in our bio? Because mine is short and sweet, but I'm noticing that so many have very long profiles on Clubhouse.
That's a great question. So the first the first interaction I had on Clubhouse, I jumped on a stage and I actually was made fun of for the length of my profile by the founder of Fubu, actually. He told me, he said, "Wow, you have so much stuff." Well, and this is at a point where Clubhouse was full of kind of people in the know. So it was names that, "Oh, you should know who I am." It's kind of like if you have to ask, then you're not in the know kind of energy. And that's well and good, but I operate in humility and I assume that you don't know anything about me. And it's a good thing I did because the entire app shifted to this searchable content where if your profile was empty, no one would find you. Your profile is your entire search optimization. So I would say to use terms, you not keywords. So it's not like a keyword list, but use sentences explaining the thing that you want to be known for, the things that you like to talk about, and use that in your profile. There was a woman who was talking on stage, and I happened to have clicked on her profile. I liked the format of her profile. I felt like when I finished reading it, I knew everything I needed to know to follow this woman. And so I used her profile as my template. You're more than welcome to look at my profile. It's at Vivian Olo. I'm at Vivian Olo on all social media. And if you like that, then use it. My tip or recommendation is just to make sure that the things that you want to talk about are inside of that profile, whether your profile is long or short. But if you want to talk about particular topics, make sure it's in your profile because that's the way that new people will find you.
Brilliant. Okay, wonderful. So things to include in our profile. Eleanor wants to know, how can a small business owner or micro influencer use Clubhouse to our advantage?
That's such a great question. The way that you can use it to your advantage is to connect with people who would enjoy your services or product. My company, Flourish Media, is a marketing firm. We help small business owners. The thing that I'm on the app for is to connect with angel investors and to talk about government contracting, or really to learn more about government contracting. As the CEO of my business, it's something that's very important to me. Those two topics overlap because not only do I need to learn about government contracting and angel investing for my nonprofit and for my business, but other business owners are interested in that. So the more that they hear me talking, the more that trust, that know, like, and trust factor is established. And that helps me whenever I do offer something on the app, people do engage with it. So, Eleanor, I would start following some of these foodie rooms. I would join a couple foodie clubs. I would join clubs with people who maybe are doing relationship retreats or things for children. However, anybody who enjoys cooking, I would join those kinds of clubs and I would jump on stage and start introducing yourself so that people can follow you. And you'd be surprised. The more conversation you have, the more doors open after that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Next question. Elizabeth is asking, how should we find people to connect with? I'm interested in connecting with people in mental health.
Oh, great. So inside of Clubhouse in mid February, they added topics. So when you go into the search area of your app, or no, yeah, you go into the search area and it'll say members, and now it says clubs, which is awesome. So what I would do if you're interested in mental health is to look at mental health as a topic, wellness, to look at, I don't know if this is from a clinical perspective or if you're coming from more of a holistic perspective, but you can look up both of those words and you'll see a long list of clubs. And I would start joining them and join the clubs. And if they don't serve you or if they're not active enough, that's something that I look at as a Clubhouse user is if you have a club, but you're not really hosting rooms, then I don't see the point in following the club. So I'll just unfollow the club. So you can do the same.
Brilliant. Yeah. You can also follow Vivian has her own Flourish club if you like to start following clubs, and she has a weekly room too on Clubhouse. So that would be a good club to start following if you aren't following any clubs yet. Mariana wants to know if there's a way to find people based on location.
To my knowledge, no, there isn't. But what you can do is inside of the search option is you can look up particular cities and you can look for people who come up with those cities. So again, within your profile, and this is how the profiles end up being so long, is because as the more you're thinking about the energy and the human behavior of how people are searching, that's what dictates what you'll put in the profile. For me, I actually have the city of Miami in my profile, with a little emoji, a palm tree, I think. And the reason why is because I wanted to be able to connect with people who lived in Miami and I wanted them to be able to search and find me. So that's an option.
Perfect. Oh, perfect. You can search for the specific geographic location you're looking for and see what shows up. Okay. Sandy is asking, is there an easy way to plan ahead and know when rooms are opening? Because when I hop on, I see conversations already happening and it takes a ton of scrolling to see upcoming rooms coming up within the next few hours. I feel like I can't plan ahead.
Great. That's such an awesome question because it is a question that the creators of Clubhouse had to be mindful of. And when you're inside the app, you can tap on I think it's on the top. I'm gonna peep inside of my app actually, just so I can tell you. But there is a calendar that's listed. Yes, there's a calendar. So if you look, hopefully I get a good link. There is a calendar right there. There's your notifications and your calendar. And when you tap on the calendar, it'll let you, it says upcoming for you. So these are rooms that the app has decided that you may find interesting. But if you tap on that, it'll also say my events. So my events are rooms that you've created yourself. And when you are looking at that, it'll show you different options and you can start to add them to your calendar ahead of time so that you can plan to join those rooms, and maybe get a better hold. But again, if you're seeing rooms inside of your hallway that don't align with you, it means that you're following somebody that you're following is triggering a conversation that doesn't align with you. So you can be, I would suggest, again, being very liberal with the people that you follow based on subject. Don't follow people just because you know them in real life. I think we've all learned on Facebook that the people we know in real life have all kinds of opinions about all kinds of things that you may not want to engage with on Clubhouse. So follow people based on subject, not just because you know that person.
Okay, that's a great advice so that you have a nice hallway.
Yeah.
Um, okay, Eleanor has another question, and she's asking, why use Clubhouse if you have a Facebook group? Does it help you interact with the audience more?
Um, no, because it's a no. Truly, honestly, it's a new environment of people. The reason why I say that is because Clubhouse is an app that right now only works for people who have iPhones. And your Facebook group works with everybody. As long as you have internet and you have a Facebook account, you can engage in a Facebook group. And what I've noticed, because I do have a Facebook group, is that sometimes we have really nice, like rich conversations. And unfortunately, some of the people there don't get to participate in the conversation simply because they have an Android, and that's such a easy little small thing, but it makes a huge impact in their ability to engage on Clubhouse. And at the same time, there's people that I've been in conversation with on Clubhouse that are magnificent. And I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that we're connected. And that same energy inside of my profile, I decided to add the name of my Facebook group because I would run into people on Clubhouse who also have iPhones who I'm not connected on Facebook. But when they look at my profile, they'll say, oh, you have a Facebook group. I'm going to join your Facebook group. So I will say that my activity on Clubhouse has actually made my Facebook group grow quite a bit.
Oh, so it's not really a replacement, it supplements.
Exactly. It is not a replacement. Think of it as two completely different um, demographics of people.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, great advice. Okay, Mariana is saying, I just started a podcast as well. So this could be a great place to continue the conversation with my listeners, right?
100%. And I also think it'll be a great place for you to find people to interview, people to interact with you, co-host. If you're a podcaster, you're going to love Clubhouse.
Okay, and Sandy is asking, tell us about weekly clubs. How do you market it? Do you get some new random people, or is it mostly people already following you on other social media that uh, join your weekly clubs?
My experience is it's been people that I do know on other apps, people that I'm engaged with specifically within a particular subject. So, for example, in March, or no, in February, we had a room that was called the Government Contracting Series, and we're going to do that again in March. Yeah. So next week, actually, we're doing the Government Contracting Series. So every single one of the experts that are co-hosting with me, they're co-hosting because I met them on Clubhouse. I either decided to do business with them. I hired a consultant and stuff from Clubhouse, and I've seen really great results from that. And I'm sharing that with the people who are following me. And again, people who were following me can see when I open a room. And I don't open rooms willy nilly. I open rooms very specifically because I want to talk about a specific topic. And one other thing that I've received positive feedback, so I'm sharing it with you, is that when you open a room and you commit to having a time frame, you will find very quickly that when you get on Clubhouse, you can spend hours on the app. it is wonderful. I mean, you can lose 6, 7 hours, but you don't lose that time because your phone is on, but you can do other things. It's a beautiful thing about podcasts and about audio. But at the same time, if you're trying to engage an audience, one of the things that I've committed to is that I only host rooms for 1 hour. And I'm very specific about that. And so, what that tells other people is that if they see my room open, they should join my room because either it started at the hour or it started at the half hour and it's going to end. Some people will see a room, and because they know that you host rooms, but you keep them open for 7 hours or for 4 hours or 3 hours, they may join and leave, or they may not join at all because they know that they can't commit a quarter of the workday to listening to you chat. So that's something that I've seen as a positive. So I'm just sharing that with you. You, of course, can host your room however you like.
Okay, wonderful. So Joe says, I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android. Do you know if it works, if the Clubhouse works on iPad?
Yes, I do know that it works on the iPad. I've heard many people joke about that, that they're walking around the house and they're with their iPad. So I believe it'll work on all Apple products. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And now we have the question of the day, and it's, how can I find out how to get invited to the platform? The majority is already on there, and I'm having a hard time getting on.
Well, I think we have a special gift to offer, don't we?
Yay! Yes, we each have a few Clubhouse invites that we can share with you guys.
Yes, I'm grabbing a pen so I can write down your phone number because the way that the invites work is it's text to you. So we have to have your actual phone number and the app will text it to you. So we have to add you as a contact in our phone and then we'll be able to share it with you. So special times, here we go.
Yeah. So I guess the way we'll do it so that we don't share our phones to the world is make sure you send a DM to me with your phone number. And I will give the first 4 of those to Vivian, and I will take the next 3. And that'll give us 7 invites. And then Mariana, who's attending the webinar, says she has another 4 invites. And Kelly also. Everyone is so wonderful here. So if you guys, if you want, text me. I'll tell you when we reached our 7 so that you can start texting phone numbers to the other attendees that are willing to hook everyone up in this room. This is so exciting. So, okay.
This is great. This reminds me of the energy in Clubhouse, you guys. When I was on the app in December, there was a young man who actually raised several millions of dollars for his startup business because he was sharing about his brand. He had been really meticulous about it, and he finally did his call, and everyone was like, I want to help, I want to help, I want to be a part of it. And I love that. Really love that energy on the app. It's very positive. My experience has been extremely positive on the app. So I'm
That
excited for these people who win.
that is so exciting. Yes. So we have Kate has sent her number. Um, we have Lakeisha has sent her number. Um, and Hillary. If there aren't any more, then we can take care of the invites with just the 2 of us. So,
Yeah.
um, so that's wonderful. Oh, we have a few more coming in. So let's wait a little bit longer. Eleanor did have, while we wait for the invite phone numbers to come in, did have one more question, and she was asking, how do you set up your own group or chat amongst yourself? If
Okay. So I'm going to assume that you mean how do you start your own club inside of Clubhouse?
or
Okay.
probably a room also. We can talk
Oh,
about how
a
to start
room.
your room and then how to start a club.
Okay, so the way that you start a room is when you're inside of the app on the bottom of the interface, it'll say start room. They make it super easy and it's a green button. You tap on that button, and if you're a member of different clubs, then you can choose to start the room as a part of a club. So that means you're affiliated with that club and you're starting the room so that people know it's going to be a topic that aligns with the topic of that club. Or you can just start a room just on your own, and that allows for you to have a public room, which is important, and then you can have private rooms. So a private room means that you're starting the room, and similar to the way that we're on Zoom here, you would then need to individually allow people to enter. And that's a nice way. Someone asked about if you have a Facebook group, is a Clubhouse a nice way to stay engaged with your audience? And that is a way that you can actually have a room, but it's a private room, and only the people that you want to communicate with can participate. So I think that's a really fun feature.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so I'm gonna just make sure I'm gonna say the names of who I have, make sure I'm not missing anyone. I have Kate, I have Lakeisha, I have Hillary, I have Eleanor, I have Cassandra, and I have Crystal. So if I missed you, please DM me again, pretty please. And then while we wait for that, for just a few more minutes, we can hang out while the last people requesting invites let us know. Sandy is asking, how do we start a club?
So the way that you start a club is if you go into your profile and scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see these round icons, and those are all of the clubs that you are a member of. If you're new on the app and you don't have any, you're not a member of any clubs, then you won't have any on the bottom, but you will see a plus symbol. So it's a circle like this, and it has a little plus sign in it. And when you tap on that, you'll be able to start your own club.
Okay, wonderful. So I believe we have enough invites between the two of us to cover everybody. I wanted to thank you so much, Vivian, for coming and sharing all of these Clubhouse insights with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to seeing you all on Clubhouse. I am at Vivian Olo on all of the different platforms. That includes Clubhouse. And if you're interested, you can join, which I almost forgot that I had a club. But you can join my club. It's Flourish Media. We have a club and we talk all about money and how money is an important part of growing your business and your brand, how you can use that money to help more people, how that you can go after grants, and just we just talk about money all the time. So that's if you're interested in that, and then I would encourage you to join us.
Okay. And if you have anything upcoming that you'd like to promote outside of your club, anything else?
Um, No, not really. I mean, we do have our room every Wednesday. If you do join Clubhouse, we have a room called Growth and Collaboration, and we talk about growth and collaboration every Wednesday at 9:45 a.m. Pro tip, when you're starting a room on Clubhouse, don't start it on the hour because people are at work, people are with their kids, they already have existing appointments. So start it at 35, 45, 15, 10. Those you'll have more success if you can start a room off the hour.
Okay, brilliant. That's good to know because we're going to start a room. So we're going to use that tip. We also started the club for the Blogger Union. If you guys would like to become members of that, feel free to join us there. We have a bunch of other webinars coming up, including how to storytelling, how to think like PR, so many fun things. Check out the bloggerunion.eventbrite.com to see our calendar of upcoming events. And thanks again, everyone, for joining us. You were such a wonderful audience, so engaged. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.